Welcome back to the Team TOC 10, it's a tongue twister, podcast week number 2. I'm your host, once again, Mr. Tibbs, aka Funky Fresh. My special guest today needs no introduction, but we're going to give him one anyway. Hands up for Jake Meyer, peeps. Get it, Jake. Get it, Jake. Welcome to the TOC Podcast, Jake.
Thanks for having me.
Face mic.
Oh, face mic, yes. Thanks for having me. It's great. I've wanted to get on ever since I heard about the idea and was jealous of you and Chris filming the first week. Glad to be here for week 2.
Well, Jake, I wish I could say I feel the same, but nobody else volunteered to be on this podcast this week, so I'm stuck with you.
All right.
But cool, you got that cool intro anyway, though, bro. So, anyway, first on the agenda this week is correcting bloopers from last week. My apologies to Stephanie Reed and Allison Lloyd for getting your team names wrong at the end of the last podcast video. Stephanie's team is called We Need a Cat, not I Need a Cat. And Allison's team's name is Players Play Bitches Bitch. Apparently I just referred to him as Bitches Bitch, and Allison took offense to that. But she's kind of stereotyping herself when she complains about me calling her team a Bitches Bitch. Right? Maybe just a little?
I can see what you're saying there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jake. Thanks for having my back.
Got your back.
Bro code.
Jeez.
Still
draft me, Allison.
Anyway, so we brought Jake in today. He is going to give a brief rundown on the past 3 Team TOC competitions, the winning teams and what made those teams successful, and drafting strategies that worked for each captain. So I'll kind of let Jake just go from here and make a fool of himself a little bit. So we'll just leave it at this.
All right, yeah,
Shout out
let's
Coke.
talk about it. Yeah, we got Coke, all about it. So I just thought we could go through some of the teams that won and see what they did right, what they did wrong, and how they were successful. So we can start with the most recent team winner, Pray to Win, with Blake as the captain. Just to list off the team, it was Blake Danner, Chris Hamilton, Nick Hamilton, Stephanie Reed, Chrissy Toman, and Adam Tibbs.
This guy.
So just going off memory, the team, you guys surprise won bowling, which was a pretty big upset at the time, and then you guys were just good across the board in all the other events, right? Did you win any other events or just the one?
We won volleyball.
Oh, you did win volleyball, that's right.
We won bowling.
So you win 2 events.
We should have won Frisbee, but I think we got 3rd.
Yeah.
But every team feels like
Frisbee.
they should have won Frisbee.
There's a lot of good Frisbee players in the field, so just let's go ahead and run through all 3 teams, and then we can kind of talk about what's similar about them. So then the previous winner to that was the Zinski Dingers, which Eric Park was the captain of, and that team was Austin Chen, Chris Hamilton, and Nick Hamilton, already seeing a similarity there, Ross Hill, and Allison Lloyd.
Just to interject for a minute, if there was ever a TOC PED scandal, would the conversation start and end with the Zinski Dingers?
I think it would have to. I mean, you had a lot of accusations about unfair amount of athleticism and talent. And
that just kind of came out of nowhere.
You had Chin Man the day of the competition fleeing the country for unknown reasons. So, I mean, there's a lot of...
Very sketchy, that one.
Yeah, so we maybe need to add an asterisk to the trophy on that one. I don't really like Zinski being on there.
I think you should.
And then the original Team TOC champion team was my team with Travis Brown, Isaac Cotherman, Doug DeVries, and Kate Kirk. So that team, that Team TOC was very different than the last 2. We had the race at the end. We had the individual event still. The previous 2 both had those individual events that dragged on forever and people weren't really fans of, but they were fun and added a little bit different draft strategy than the current form. But so anyway, just looking at those teams, I think it's been my humble opinion that you can really find a single draft pick that can catapult a team to victory. Going back to the first one, I think you look at the Kate Kirk draft pick in the
You're as cold as ice.
last round, and you see her carry us in Sudoku during that race. That really was the key moment of that TOC to get us the victory.
Is Caitlin Kirk the only TOC competitor to never lose a TOC competition she's competed in?
That's a good question. I think, I'm trying to think, well, I guess Isaac did an individual. I'm not sure if Isaac did an individual or not. I think he did. And so then that would be Caitlin. I think that might be true. Unconfirmed, but
Impressive. That explains why she's never been back.
she left on a high note. So then the second Zinsky Dingers, I think the pick that really catapulted them would be Nick Hamilton, which I believe they got in the 3rd round. Really the Chris and Nick combo. They got Chris in the 2nd round pretty late, and then Nick in the 3rd round. And getting those 2nd, 3rd round picks just made their team really tough to beat when you're already pairing it with Eric and Ross. It's a lot. And then your team, I think...
Chemistry.
Well,
team chemistry.
There is a lot of team chemistry with that team for sure, but I once again give Nick Hamilton the credit for that as the single draft pick that had the biggest influence, just because his injury was made him drop very low in that draft, and he ended up...
He was drafted in the 3rd round.
Wasn't he 4th round? I thought you were 3rd.
I was drafted in the 3rd round.
He is, I think, at the end of the 4th round, which is very late for the quality. He was hurt, but... And that team was a lot of team chemistry for sure, but...
Chris and Nick on the same team is a common theme for success in this competition.
Definitely. The Hamilton brothers are tough to beat when you pair them together. They've never lost when they've been on the same team. It's only happened twice. We'll see if it happens again. But, yeah.
Personal opinion, I think the best possible team to draft would be Stephanie drafting the exact same team once again to go for the repeat.
Who would be taking Chrissy's spot since she is unfortunately unable to?
Oh,
I know, it's brutal.
Samantha.
Sam, the other
She's the captain.
that would fit.
So much for my strategy. Jake, what's your strategy?
For this TOC coming into it, I think you got to get a good pick in every round and make sure that the team chemistry is going to work, and you got to be able... I really think the key is avoiding last place finishes in any event. Those last place finishes really kill you.
How can you draft to not get a last place finish?
You got to make sure you don't have like 2 or 3 people that just suck at one event. You got to avoid that. Like, someone can suck at an event. Like, everyone has their weak events and their strong events, but you got to make sure they're not all concentrated.
So who are the people to stay away from them that could cause you to get last place in a specific event?
I'm not trying to call anyone out. You could say Mark Webster might hurt you in bowling by not showing up and causing you to get last place. Yeah, I'm still bitter. But, I mean, there's just, everyone has their ups and downs.
Would your team have had a chance to win the TOC if Mark Webster participated in bowling?
It would have been a small chance. He would have had to bowl out of his mind.
Mark would have had to bowl like a perfect game,
but the question
for them to get any better in bowling than they did.
The question would mainly be is if Mark showing up would have boosted our morale to make other people that had uncharacteristically low bowling scores bowl better, which is a long shot, but you never know.
So is Mark good at boosting the morale of his team?
No, but not having someone there is a real morale killer, I'll tell you that. Just when you have one man down, everyone's just in the dumps.
So note to the captains, drafting people who will show up is very important.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Could be more important than the quality of the person that you're selecting.
Yeah, for sure. Just talking about Mark in specific, he's an interesting case because I would have him as a high first round pick if he was guaranteed to show up and be into it 100%, but based on him, I mean, it was extreme circumstances last time. He had some important issues to deal with, so
we won't go into this.
There's no way to predict for something like that, but with that unknown quantity, I have him, I think, as a third rounder this time, when his true talent level is first rounder. But
Do you have a draft board?
I've worked on it some. Yeah, I have. It's not finalized, but it's in process.
I asked Chris this question last time.
Oh yeah.
I remember this. Are you colluding with Stephanie Reed? I mean, if you're not a captain, why would you have a draft board?
I've made a draft board every time because that's just what I do to think about it and have fun. But also, I'm not colluding with Stephanie because I'm not really predicting her to pick me. I know most people probably are, but I feel like if I went too far of trying to get her to draft a certain way, then she wouldn't even draft me, and then she would end up with the best team, and I would once again not be on it. And I gotta win this time, so.
I didn't really follow anything you just said.
I'm just saying, Stephanie will go against whatever I say, is my main point. If I tried to tell her one way,
So if she drafted,
she'd do the opposite.
If she drafted you, you think your chemistry would be hurt. So you're saying you don't want to be on Stephanie's team?
Not what I'm saying. I'm saying if I tried to tell her how to draft, she would do the opposite. But that's why I just don't tell her anything.
I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. So
Don't try to coach her.
Chris says that Samantha gets super stressed out if he brings up TOC, and you say Stephanie just gets super angry and stubborn when it comes to talking about TOC.
That's fair.
So my next question to the other commissioners, why are either of these people captains then?
Because they've been loyal TOC members for a long time, and it's time to see how they can do as a captain. A lot of the people in the TOC have gotten a chance to be captains. We've had 12 captains, and we thought the girls would most likely want to do it if all 4 captains were girls versus just having 1 or 2 girl captains sprinkled in. So we thought it was a good chance to let them all have a chance to make their own picks and see how they do.
So is that all you want to talk about with respect to the teams? Anything else you'd like to add? Advice for the captains from our wise commissioner?
I don't think so. I'm trying to think. I'm working on a why to draft me video that should be coming out sometime, so that'll be good. Hopefully.
Why to draft me? Why shouldn't they draft you, Jake? In the last video I said don't draft Jake. I stand by that statement. Do not draft Jake. But Jake, tell us why the captain should draft you.
Okay, I won the first team TOC as captain, so I have that winning experience. I know what it feels like.
There are some members of this TOC competition who still do not concede defeat in that TOC. I am not one of them. But it was a hotly contested competition, and because of the ridiculousness of one final event, your team won. But everybody knows the whole thing all came down to this one small event that had such a huge impact and gave your team victory that a few people still will not concede defeat to. So
Do you want me to respond to those people? Or
I want you to
should
respond to that first, and then why you should draft me.
My answer to those would be, you look at the trophy, which team is on there. That's the final answer. And if we want to get into little things that could have gone different and little small disagreements people have, we could look at pretty much every other individual TOC and at least one of the team TOCs, the Zinsky Dingers victory, were pretty much ties, and they came down. I mean, Chris Durrell won by a high card competition against me. Kevin beat me in a tiebreaker after a tie in the overall competition. The Zinsky Dingers won on a pick'em. So, I mean, there's been lots of very little, small, some might say luck things that have gone against my team.
Pray to Win one on a ladder golf.
Pray to Win, yeah. I like that tiebreaker a lot better than what we've used in the past, because that one, Blake earned that on draft night by winning that ladder golf, and it came up huge. We'll see if it comes down to a tie again this time around.
Is there a tiebreaker this time around?
I think we're sticking with the ladder golf.
Ladder golf.
Yeah, it works well. We don't have the arguments after the fact of trying to come up with one.
Okay.
So just having it said.
Well, again, we know you're making a video, but to give us a brief synopsis here, why should the captains draft you?
Well, like I said, I won the first TOC. The second TOC, it came down to a tiebreaker between the Sprinkles, the Dreadwalks, and the Zinsky Dingers. And I think I performed well in that TOC if you were there. And then the most recent was my worst performance to date, but my team still got third, and we were still right in it if the bowling would have gone different, and the volleyball. We were really, those volleyball games were
Basically,
really
if every event would have gone differently, his
No,
team
just-
would have had
just
a
those
chance.
two. They were both very close, and my team very easily could have won, but we just weren't quite there. That's hashtag selfie. But I think just looking back,
Most hated team in TOC history.
I'll own that. I'm all about being hated. I'm not afraid, as you'll see in my video coming up. That's a little teaser.
Okay.
We'll add to the legend of hatred towards me.
Well, Jake, one final thing I'd like to do here with you before we wrap this up. I've got the list of everybody participating in this TOC in front of me. I'm going to go through name by name, rapid fire. I want you to give me a 1 or 2 word response on your take on that person.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Allison Lloyd.
Intense.
You can't use that for every single person.
Okay, I won't use it for. I'll try not to use the same word twice, but I might end up using the
Kelly
same word
Hansen.
I'm glad this isn't naked, where if I say I have to stick with that as my word.
No, but you can't ramble. Come on.
Sorry.
We're okay. We're gonna skip Kelly. Sorry, Kelly. Samantha Hamilton.
Deserving.
Stephanie Reed.
Beautiful.
Chris Hamilton.
Ugh.
Ugh.
4.
Okay. Kelly Hansen. Back to Kelly.
Potential winner.
Potential winner. Can't you say that about everybody?
You could, but I
think. Jake Meyer.
the best.
The best. Adam Tibbetts.
Underrated.
Underrated.
Yeah,
got
I
him
have
in
you
third
high.
round
I know.
at
I have you
18
high on my
TOC.
draft board. You've been very successful.
I
in
feel
these.
very deserving as a third round
Third
pick.
rounder. I think you need to be late second, maybe mid second.
Okay.
Your teams have done well.
Auburn Lehman. What are you looking at me?
I'm trying to think of a word. I wanted to say Korean because Neil just got back from Korea.
Okay.
Fun.
Fun. Seth Thomas.
Athletic.
Mason Galloway.
Volleyballer.
Volleyballer. Can we give him a nickname?
Sure. I think what do you want it to be? Something with Mafia?
I wanted to say Volley Gal, but he's a guy, so something to do with Mafia. Is there any sort of like volleyball Harry Potter reference that you can make?
No.
Ah, sorry, Mason, we're not creative enough. Blake Danner.
The Hammer.
Hammer. Patrick Littlefield.
Mustache.
Very nice. Aaron Elliott.
Family Feud.
Brett Boba Johnstone. You can't say Boba Fett. Can't say Star Wars.
I was about to say Star Wars. Dodgeball catcher.
Alex Hernandez.
Unknown.
Amanda Resniak.
Lisa Berry.
Lisa?
That's just the vibe I get. I mean, we'll see. But
Lisa Berry. Not competing.
oh,
in
and I
TOC.
already used intense. Argumentative.
Nick Hamilton.
Not injured anymore.
That's 3 words. 2 words. Come on.
Healthy.
Neil Hargrove.
Back.
Doug Debris.
No, not Doug.
I know, but I'm still doing
Doug.
it anyway.
Doug.
No, he's not competing, but
Kindred Spirit.
Lauren Miller.
Fun.
And now their replacements, Kevin Palm,
Tall.
Danielle Palm,
Feisty.
Austin Chin,
Paris.
Paris.
Who goes to Paris?
Are you
instead of being
still,
at
are you
the
still
TOC?
bitter over the...
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't on his team. I'm still bitter he won. But
Austin's name is on the trophy for a TOC competition he did not compete in. That's a real thing. How did they win?
because they were that good. Eric drafted a great team.
Performance-enhancing drugs. I'm just saying, we don't do any testing. At least I don't think we do. But maybe, Commissioner, it's something you should consider.
Maybe.
Micah Brooks.
Frisbee defense.
I was gonna say LeBron James.
LeBron James.
LeBron. Ben Reeves. Could be a hard one. You may not know Ben.
Disc
I don't
golf.
know Ben.
I've seen him play disc golf.
Is he good?
He did very well in that TOC Open that we had disc golf in. TOC 8.
Mark Webster.
No show.
Oh, Mark, he still is not over that. And it was just bowling. It was an event that you guys
He didn't come to
really
Family
were
Feud
way
either.
behind
He
in.
didn't come to Family Feud either, which we won, but he was 2/5 of the competition as the number 3 overall pick. It's pretty bad.
Sorry, Mark.
Sorry, Mark.
Okay, then a couple people that are not
Oh,
competing, but we're going ahead and do them anyway because they are
Because I'm really bad at
So-
this one-word game.
entrenched in TOC. Eric Park.
Hater.
Jeremy Wilkins. Can't say roommate.
Golfer.
Golfer. T Breezy. Travis Brown.
Underrated. He was part of the Gigawatts. I already used underrated for you.
That's okay.
I think he's good in a team format. I think he would be underdrafted.
So that's all of it, I think. That's everyone.
Okay. I hopefully didn't offend too many people. Sorry if I did.
No, Jake, you're very tame. Do you want some walk-off music?
Sure.
Should we continue our same song?
Yeah, I like that song.
Okay. Get it, Jake. Get uh-oh, it's coming off.
There it is. It's the Artifacts. Back in the room.
Okay, Jake's gone. That's all this week. Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Because we're about to rock the entire nation. Alright? Here we go.
I say boom boom boom, now let me hear you say well.